Okay, hopefully I record the right thing this time. After 30 minutes, anyway. So here we have our thing that I want to show you this time. It's basically a like small pavilion that we have, and we have this like nice wooden structure that goes around here, and we have our little thing in the middle as well that is kind of like scaled down version of it. So just to like show you around, it has like all the parameters that you want to have. Well, let me remove those things here first, and I will show you through the way of how it is created and how it can be parameterized to fit the needs that you want. So the way we're going to do is we're going to construct a point first, or server points, and we create a series of them. Those series might be like like this. We might actually use like quite some random points as like some jitter to it as well to have it more effectively. So then we need to make a second row, and with the same x coordinates, but the y coordinates needs to be there as well in a way, and they are a little bit different here as well. So we're gonna use this, make them a bit like less extreme, but then also have like a certain starting, so they're like a little bit an offset to it. So, and we can as well add a certain jitter amount to it as well, so we have some like a certain like element of randomness to it, but which can also be always changed later to be fitting more to your things. So those things are created now, and now we need to create a moving into the x or z direction, and we're going to use again a series, but we're gonna well, we also have a certain starting area, and we might need to change this from here like that. No, this will be the same, but let's change that thing as well. I think we just actually keep it and it will be fine. And we need to be into the z direction, this, and then it will be put into the z direction like here, because this will be like a very clear shape. Now we have it here as well. So those are our things. As you see, we might need to have a jitter effect as well to the z direction here as well. So we have things as well here. So we're going to connect those points now together, and by doing that we need to basically weave them together. It would be like the most efficient way to do it, and we need to create two more things, and as well as what I actually show you. So we need to have this one here first, then the next one come up here, then this one up there, the next one is the low point. But right now, for example, if I don't change the pattern with just the first two, we need to change here until set multiple integers at here, do this 3, and have it all set up. So now we have the thing set up to itself, but now we also need to partition, because like now if we just put them together, they will be like all together like this, and we don't want that. We just want them to have just the 4 of them. So we just need to put this as 4 here, put that, and then it's all fine, neat and good and awesome. So next thing we're going to do is to is this recording? Yeah, I'm still recording. Need to make an offset to the curve. So this will be like set offsets depending on the distance we want. Yes, it's usually good to go this way, so it goes all like in the out, and we're gonna make basically a loft between those two, because a loft will actually work very well to have this certain like let's say edge to it. Let me just graph this correctly here. I think we actually might to simplify the tree. This one here as well. And now they're correctly together. As you see, now we have this nice edge that we have in the rendering here as well. So the one goes in one direction and the one goes in the other direction. Because the way around it works, it shows it always goes the longest direction, and it's like the direction of the seam if the thing is like set up correctly in a way. So now we have the thing, but we also need to have want to have some certain thickness to it. So we're going to use the move command and just move it to a certain amount into the x direction. this onto the X direction. And what I used like in the last, and I just used a certain division of the val that we have in the beginning from each step. So like 22 divided by something, like I don't really care. Let me, yes, like this, like divided by 5, so it would be like 1/5 of the length division of it. Obviously you can just put a clear number in there, that I don't really care, but for the parametric things to it, so it will always be according to it, as you see. So nice, now we have our things, and the next thing we do is all need to have a certain the distance covered as well between those two things. So we need to have a extrusion, extrude it, and we also need to put those two things together. Well, they already are here, and it also needs to be extrusion to the X direction, and the extrusion needs to be the same amount of the val that we have here. So now we have a very nice clean thing in here. So that's our set. That's good. But now we need our want to have our middle little thing to it as well. So we're gonna what we're gonna do is we're gonna first create a line that goes from here to there, and it basically is a basic line, and we just make a small rectangle like this to it. See? Okay. So I'm gonna create a line with STL, and the starting point would be 0, 0, because that's how we started also in the other one. We can just list item and use the first point here as well. It might be like more cleaner in a way. And we're going to multiply it by the steps and by the count of the things that we have into like the length, let's say. So that's the starting point, and you see now it's here, but it overshoots a little bit, so we have to actually subtract a little bit, and like one length, one step from it, in order for it to be correctly in here. So now we have it there, and we're gonna use the point on curve tool, point on curve, and this will be our scaling method, let's say. So it will be scaled, the geometry will be scaled in the center of it with a factor of let's not go higher than 2, because if 2 would be bigger, less than 1 it would be smaller. So let's remove this, also remove but not preview it, and now we need to put this thing a little bit more here, so we just use a simple offset as well, and the offset would be, goes in the right direction. No, it doesn't, so it might need to be negative, but the distance is basically the distance, the minimum distance of those two things. So this we have it defined over here, but it needs to be negative, like I said, like that. And now we have very nice and clean. You see, it doesn't like it just touches just in on the same line, like a parallel, like in the same direction. So that's pretty good. And now we have our little things, and we just to get the endpoints of it, and we're gonna connect those together so it's very nice and like a rectangle, and we're gonna join the curves together as well. So whoops, not the text join, the curve join. Put this here, put this there, put this there, and this here, and just flatten it as well. And then we can also use the box rectangle for extrusion, and we might need to, the height will be defined by the minimum height that we have with this one, but it needs to be negative because we don't want it to go to the ground. This is the wrong one. So now it's all nice and clean, it doesn't really touch it at all, just like exactly how it should be touching it. So nice. Okay, I actually got it quicker done this time. It's pretty good. And we don't need to also group those things together, so we have them nice and tidy. And so yeah, and now we can maybe play around with it a little bit, see where we want to have it. Maybe can I put some more or less. I should put less maybe. Go board here. And I want to have my thing a little bit more to the front, maybe like this. And I want to have a few more of the things as well. And maybe, yeah, well, this was a bit more extreme. Actually, decrease the step. So we get a little more tidy here. So yeah, so let's bake this stuff. Bake again. Put this back here. And now we can just put a simple geometry on it. Like from the V-Ray normal thing. Oh, I didn't group it, but okay. Actually, if you want to have it correctly, you just need to flatten this here. And then you can bake it, and then it's also simply grouped, and I can just click it all at once. Very neat. So our parameter selection. I also need to bake my small box here as well. Bake, yes, whatever. And create a small infinity surface to it. Do I have it? Yeah, okay. Let me actually remove one of those. Okay, and now you can just simply render it. And the results might be close to the one that we want to have in the beginning. Obviously if it's more extreme, but you see the seam goes into one direction, here into the other direction, so it's pretty nice. So it's almost like the way of how I envisioned it in a way. So give it like this. It's a bit more small, more delicate in a way, but it would be the same result. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. If you have any questions, ideas, what I should do next, please let me know. And enjoy the time. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.